ideas. They might be as mundane, might be mundane. You might look at them and say, oh, these ideas are mundane. But the truth is, there is no idea that is mundane, because it's only when you've actually gone through these ideas and processed them that you can begin to come up with innovative activities. So very quickly, let me share my screen with you so I can just take you through what we'll be doing today. So I know I said innovation plan, but I want us to also focus on idea management. So what is idea management? What's an idea? I've said that every product, every offering, every business idea, or every business you see that is flourishing today starts with an idea. Somebody thought through it. Somebody thought like, okay, you know what? Oh, let me do this. This would actually turn out to be a business venture that would work out. Remember I said last week that you cannot say you are innovating until you have turned that idea, it has gone through the process and it's generating you wealth. So the only way you can see you're innovative is if you're able to generate wealth from whatever idea that you have. And I should also mention that idea comes in different forms from around your business. I know I mentioned it last time. It can be your customer feedback. It can be maybe some people actively request for ideas that form focus groups. It can be challenges that you have. So in this era of pandemic, some people, how do you, the lockdown in itself is an issue for you, it's a problem, because you can no longer then go about your businesses. You cannot go do pickups. You cannot, your customers cannot come to you to say, oh, please do this or do that. For those in schools, you cannot, your students can no longer come to school. You have a shop, customers can no longer come to your shop to buy from you. That's a problem. If you think through that problem, you definitely will come up with ideas on how to surmount those problems. So you've come up with ideas from the problem that you have. You have a challenge and it helps you generate ideas. So that some people actively look for suggestions. So for some people, it's some other person's business. I told you last time, you can even look at your competitor. So somebody is already in the business of selling recharge card in your area. You can look at that person's business, gauge it. Oh, how is Mr. A going about his business? How can I improve on it? So you pick that and you add your own layer of your innovative idea to it. You improve that process. You put it to the market and you begin to make money from it. You're innovative because you have worked on, or you've improved an idea that was already, a product that's already existing in the market. Idea management or managing ideas basically means having a pool of ideas. I've told you that if you want to manage ideas, you can't work with one or two. You have a lot. Some of them will pan out, some will not. But the more ideas you have, the more opportunities you have to turn them into business ventures. So you look at them, they might be product, they might be reviewed. You probably might be listening to the news and somebody says, of the uncle say something, and you realize, oh, there's a need here. And you begin to think, how can I turn this into a business? How can I turn this into something that I can do to meet the need of the people in that environment? You think through it, you develop it. Now, for you to effectively manage idea, you need to get your team. So it's not a one-man business. And that's a mistake a whole lot of businesses make today. A lot of people make that businesses today. You think because, I was the person that came up with the idea, oh no, I have to do it. Let me bring it home to us in Gcoma. So maybe the president had thought of, oh, I want us to have sessions, business sessions where we can really deliberate and talk about different topics. If he had just, because it's my idea, I need to sit on it and make sure that I am the one that handles it, he probably would not have panned out. But I'm sure that he sat with his team and he said, okay, this is something we need to do. How can we go about that? And a whole lot of ideas, suggestions would have come from the other excos before they eventually reached an identity. Okay, you know what, let's go about it this way and get people in the house to help us bring this to fruition, which is what has given birth to what we're currently enjoying today. So that's the whole importance of idea management. That's the game of idea management, right? So it said that in practice, we typically consider idea management to be formed on 4 distinct but overlapping areas, right? The strategy, the process, the tools, the methods, and let's not forget the culture. Culture is embedded in every one of these. So strategy, for example, what is that? It's how you want to go about your business. It's the overall plan of how you want to carry out your business. So that when people see you, say, okay, so, oh, that's the strategy, right? Sometimes you see some, for example, banks, you say, oh, these banks they don't bank individuals. That's their strategy. Maybe their strategy is, look, let's just focus on corporates. No matter how enticing the retail aspect is, they would not look at it. No matter how much money other people are making from, they won't, because what? That's their strategy. I want to focus on the high net worth individual. I want to focus on the everyday. I want to focus strictly on the small and medium business enterprises. Those are strategy determines how your overall business functions. The processes in this talks about how you do it. How do you go about your business? Do you do 1 before 2, or do you jump from 1 to 5 before circling back to 2? Now, these areas are peculiar to businesses. There is no one size fits all at all. It doesn't work that way. So it's you that will look at, okay, so this is what is it that will work for me. You put it and you work by it. The tools is what you need, the basic things you use to go about your business. So what are your tools? Is it the business online? So do you require internet? Do you sell, buy and sell? So what are your tools? Oh, I have a store. I don't have a store. I utilize Instagram for my business. Oh, I use my phone. I use this. Those are the tools that you use to begin to, go about it. So you can also say, okay, so my tools, customer feedback, for example. So feedback, right? So that's your customers. How do they give you that feedback? Maybe they send you messages on WhatsApp. Maybe you have maybe a Google form where they get to fill in and give you their feedback, stuff like that. The method, so you can use feedback, you can use focus groups, you can use Q&A, you can be the one to call up your customers and ask them, how can I serve you better, right? You can, your methods can even be, going online and looking through people in my kind of business, how do they go about their generation and management of idea? So that the management is the capturing, evaluating, prioritizing, and the feedback. So the entire process of managing ideas. Note that idea is just one part of innovation management. It's just one part, but it's a very important part because that is the beginning. If you don't have idea, then you cannot review that idea. You cannot implement it. You cannot turn it out into a product, and you definitely cannot turn it into wealth or get feedback on it to know how it is doing in the market. Are you with me? Have I lost you? Or are you following me?
We're with you.
Great. Okay. So, do you understand what I've said so far? Is it clear?
Yeah, it is clear.
All right. So you can say you successfully manage your ideas if whatever the final product is meets the need of your customers, right? So if you come up with ideas and you have customers and you get feedback from your customers to say, yes, this works for me, then you can say, yes, you have an effective idea management process. Look up, your hand is raised.
Yes. So I want to ask, the idea, the strategy, tools, and feedback, are they on the idea or they are just item individually?
So these are, they say, like that the whole idea management falls into these 4 buckets, right? So whatever kind of idea you come up with is dependent on your strategy. So if I have a business and my strategy is I'm going to focus strictly on women, I cannot now begin to generate ideas that will help me sell my product to men. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you can fall into these 4 buckets. So these are things that will basically inform the kind of ideas that you come up with and how you manage them.
Okay.
Is that clear? Right. So I just want to take us through the difference between idea management and innovation management. Right. I said that innovation management refers to the management of introducing something new. It's wide, yes. We can't cover innovation management in one day, and that's the truth. I also had mentioned earlier that idea management is just one part of that innovation management. But I feel it's important because that is where it starts from. So if you look at a map of innovation management, right, you see that it's just one, but it's very important. Because if you don't have buckets of ideas, then you have nothing to build on. You have nothing to improve on. So why idea management is important, it's not the entirety of innovation management, because it definitely will take a whole lot more work than generating ideas to begin to innovate. So let's just get that, let's be clear. Why is idea management important? I had mentioned this. Every innovation starts from an idea. If there's no idea, you cannot innovate, because you really innovate on something that is not existing. It's like you want to wear, so you have legs, you want to wear shoes. If you don't have shoes, you can't wear them. If you don't have legs, you can't wear shoes, except you want to put them on your hand, which if you look at it, really, that is not where it belongs. So if there are no ideas, what really are you innovating on? What can you improve on? What are you building on? Nothing. Correct? And the reason why idea management is important is the fact that if you look at companies that are successful, you find out that they have a pool of idea management, and they have a structured idea management system. So I work with a financial institution, and something that is obtainable there is a platform that was created. So for every product activity that you see the bank doing, know that there's a platform that they've created where every staff of that bank can just go in there and put in an idea, no matter how stupid that idea will sound. You're encouraged, just go there and drop it. There's a thing that is dedicated to sifting through these ideas and categorizing them. Some of those ideas are things that you see that you can easily implement, and it would begin to churn out revenue. Some of them are things that would improve on products that are already existing. Why some are things that are completely new that can bring about disruptive innovation. So you can disrupt the market. Some years back in the banking sector, of course, you definitely will not hear anything about digital banking, mobile banking. You can just sit at home. Now you have USSD, WhatsApp banking. You have the whole likes of what's her name? Siri. It's Siri, right? And all those automated all the bots. Some other firms have taken it the extra mile. So for most companies now, you have apps. You can go to Google Play Store and you download. This did not just come up. Somebody thought about them. And the truth is, you cannot have one idea that will just sell, because you have to improve and improve. And even if it's out there and it's generating new wealth, you can't remain static. because you have to keep building on it for it to continue generating you wealth. Otherwise, somebody somewhere will come up with something better, build on your idea, on your product, and you're off the market. And then you find out that you're struggling all over trying to make ends meet. So for a business to increase the probability of succeeding in innovation, it simply makes sense for it to try to collect, manage, and develop many different ideas. Many. I told you about the inventors that we have. They not, because if you try once, if you're lucky, it might work. But in most cases, it doesn't work the first time. So you need to keep trying and trying and trying again. Basic challenges with idea management, right? Challenges are usually a result of a number of practical challenges in the organization. Now, one, the ideators, those people that come up with ideas, are far from the decision makers. So if you say, oh, you must go for, there's a case study that we went through. You know, there's this knowledge sharing session we do in my unit. And it was, what you found out that was obtainable is that, so if in a firm, that company, if I'm a staff, maybe I'm a junior staff, for example, and Lydia is my direct supervisor, and Lugapro is maybe the head of that unit, or is the group head, or the CEO, just make it more practical. I can, no matter the kind of idea I have, I cannot go directly to Lugapro to say, oh, this is what I think we should do, without going to Lydia. And no matter how much Lugapro wants to have a conversation with me, he cannot have a meeting with me without Lydia being there. So I have to go from A to B to C to D. However, if you really want to succeed, which is what most innovative firms are doing now, you need to crash that hierarchy. That does not mean that people forget where they are placed. No, you have your hierarchy, but it's just for the structure. In reality, they begin to operate open door policies. So you are free to walk into anybody's office to say, I have this idea. What can we do with it? Listen to it and see if it works. If it works, then we can then create a theme or bring it to the larger house and see how we can improve on it. Because if you have that structural hierarchy, you find out that you definitely will not be innovative. So even Mr. A, who is down the ladder, comes up with an idea. He gives it to B, gives it to C, gives it to D. Before he gets to Mr. G, who is the decision maker, what will happen is that idea would have been watered down. If you want to try it, we can try it now. So I make a statement. I say something to Lugapro. If that one statement I made, if it goes around everybody in this call and comes back to me, you find out that it is not the same way I have said it, that it will come back to me. People would have interpreted it in their own words, added words that were not there, removed some words. It's the same way if you have that kind of structure that would stop ideators from having direct access to the, right? Another challenge is that the people who come up with ideas are bad at selling it. Selling is a skill that you need to build. Some people are very good when it comes to selling their thoughts or composing their thoughts or selling themselves or selling their ideas. However, some people are not. So you need to brush up that skill. You can practice it with somebody in your house. Remember those days when we were growing up? This is a very naughty one, but there's always probably that one special person in your house who was always able to get money from your father or your mother when there's need. Why? Not because that person had two heads, but because that person probably knows how to go and tell mommy and daddy, say, I want this. So maybe If Mr. O goes to mommy and say, "Mommy, please, I want to buy this," you're not like, pay for me. Mr. B will go with the same story and get the money. It depends on how you put it out there. So some people know how to sell ideas, some people don't. So if you have ideators who are unable to sell their ideas, then you have a challenge with actually generating ideas. How to sell ideas, but the ideas that they pitch might be bad, right? So those ideas are not good, but because they have very sweet mouths, so people can sell Nigeria to you. They will tell you buy Nigeria, and you will give them money to buy Nigeria. Even though you know at the end of the day, this Nigeria, you can never really get it. Your money has gone. But the price they are selling that Nigeria to you, you don't care. You're giving everything to them, and that's what it is. So maybe the idea is the way they pitch it, or the way it comes across. Okay, this thing definitely will not make sense. However, by the time you now weigh it against your customer needs, to find out that it might meet their need, but you probably will not go with that the pitch is not, the way they pitched it or the way they've sold that idea to you, those ideas will not fly in the market. Sometimes we feel that, look, this one is not the one that I want to face now. Let me face something that I think if I do it immediately to give me more money. Forget this business idea, it will work. Before the pandemic, I'm sure if you had told people, let's go online. Some people see social media as a place to just go and gossip, go and follow trend, what's going on, what's the in thing. But for some people, that's their livelihood, that's how they make their money. So the time you spend on social media, gossiping and following, you can use it to sell yourself. So you can just be chatting with somebody and you're selling clothes, put it out there, post it. I sell clothes. If you're not buying, just put it, encourage people to also do that advertisement. Tell somebody to tell somebody. By the time you do that one too, you get somebody who will come to you to say, look, I want to get this. Another challenge is that there's no resource for implementing these ideas. So it's one thing to come up with an idea, it's another thing to actually implement that idea. If you do not give ideas the importance, you don't attach the importance required to them, then you would have a challenge in converting those ideas to money-making products for you. Are you still with me? If I'm too fast, please let me know, because your essence is to make sure that you're following and you're taking something from this. Are you still with me? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right. Thank you, Lydia. Okay. So now to innovation management. Innovation management is basically the entirety of managing innovation. It basically refers to handling all the activities that has to do with introducing something you're improving on what is already existing. It means generation of idea, the development of that idea, the prioritizing and implementing of those ideas, and pushing them out to the public such that they begin to generate wealth for you. An example is the launching of new products or introducing new internet. From start to finish, for every new product, it starts with an idea. So you develop, you implement, you put it out to the market. That entire process, end to end, that is innovation management. Simply the process of coming up with introducing new things and developing the business one way or the other. That's innovation management. So I said that that's with capability, your structure, your strategy, and your culture. I'm basically just going to take us through for capabilities. Capabilities is basically the umbrella. It's an umbrella term used to cover the different abilities and resources that the organization has for creating and managing innovation. It revolves primarily around people, right? So individuals and teams, the people who, this can, like the human resource, it's basically resources. So the people who will do the work, how are they? What's their level of understanding of the idea? What's their level of understanding of what you want to put out? Correct? Their abilities. Do they have insights? Because the truth is, there are people who in a team will probably not be able to contribute so much in terms of coming up with ideas, but they're able to now do the groundwork that is required to churn out those ideas. So you need to weigh the capabilities of your people and place them, categorize such a way that they are where their strengths are. So the key focus on what their strengths are, not necessarily their weaknesses, and put them in areas where you know that that person would perform well. So it refers to the abilities, unique insight, the know-how, and the practical skills of the people working for the organization. Now, it's not just about people. It also has to do with the knowledge capital, or you say information capital of the organization. What's the information capital? I've talked that you have to now look at idea management. How do you manage it? Because your process of gathering ideas, of gathering information from within and outside the organization also helps to promote what your capabilities as a business or as organization is. You also have to consider your financial capability, because no matter how smart or good your ideas are, if there's no financial capability to churn it out, then you would have a challenge. Now, when you talk about financial capability, you don't need to now say, I don't have the finance. These days, there are a whole lot of ways where you can get finance to support your business without really bleeding so much. Gone are those days where banks tell you have to have a land, have a collateral. Now, there are opportunities for small and medium scale businesses to actually have access to funding to help grow their businesses. Because we find that the small and medium scale, that's the future. That's the bedrock of the economy. So you have avenues to actually get funding to support your business. For structure is basically the things how you apply your capabilities. Let me put it that way, right? Because you might look at them and say, but they are similar, yes. But structure is what helps you implement your capabilities, for lack of a better word, right? So you can look at your organizational structure, the process, the infrastructure of the organization. How is your business structured? That is key. So if you run maybe a matrix organization where you have people with different skills in groups, so you have a group. For most companies, they have different structures. So some people will have, this is my marketing arm. This is the HR. This is the back end, the business support guys. Some people would have one of each of those units together. So if in your innovation management process, you feel that having a representation of the different teams in one team would help you, then go for it. And in most cases, you find that is the ideal thing to do. Because if you have a team that has both business partners, you have both the marketers, you have maybe your human resource, you have your ITs, depending on the size of your business. You have the people who sell for you, have people who do the buying, stuff like that. You have them all in one team, brainstorming, coming up with ideas. Now you find out that you have a better chance than the businesses who will just leave it for one man to run, or say, you know what, it's the R&D business, go and deal with it. So the structure is basically what helps you, how you go about implementing your capabilities. If you have a right structure, it can help you with your innovation management. It can help you. So it will appear as though, this person is doing so well. Mr. A and Mr. B are running the same business. But Mr. A is coming up with new ideas to do things such that Mr. B is trailing behind. How? if you look at it, it probably will just be the structure. I give an example of the structure of having an open door policy where anybody can just walk up to you and say, I have this idea. And one where they have to go through a whole lot of process to get to you. Now, as a business person, this is for the business person, it doesn't make any sense for you to be far from your customers. You have to be very close to them. They should be able to reach you just picking up your phone and calling you. You have to be accessible. What you can do is say, you know what, call me between X, Y. So once it's 10 p.m., I'm probably not available to pick my call because of family commitment. So let's just respect the business hour. But your customer should be able to reach you. Actually, they should be able to be free to give you feedback on how they feel you are doing. Some people are really not good at taking feedback, but if you want to grow, if you want to improve as a business person and as a person individually, if you want to grow, you need to be able to take feedback. Not see that this person is trying to teach you what to do. Rather, see that this person is helping you. It's helping you grow. Take it, sift through it, pick the words that you think would apply to you positively and move on. Correct? So, culture. Culture is your way of doing things. Is your way of doing things. So it said if structure allows the effective use of our capabilities, culture is what enabled the organization to acquire the capabilities related to the people. What's your culture? Is your culture such that people are free to approach you? Or is your culture such that people cannot come to you directly? They have to maybe drop it in a suggestion box. How does your business go? How you do things is your culture. So you're like, oh, please, in my place, oh no, we don't eat snail. In my place, no. You hear some people say, in my place, we don't do this, we don't do that. Say it's their culture. So your culture is what determines on how you build, on how you're able to innovate. If your culture supports it, it becomes an enabler. If your culture does not, then no matter how much you put into it, you will always fail. So the thing is, you have to look at, so what's the culture? What's my business culture? What's my message? What message am I putting out there? When people see me, what's the vibe I'm throwing out? It determines on how you fare. He said that with the right kind of pro-innovation culture, your organization is much more likely to be able to recruit and keep the right people in the organization. So it's just like business now. Let's even forget the organization part, business. If you have the right culture, your people who work with you or even your customers will be free to give you pointers. And such way you can improve on your business and then you can get more customers. Now, as for workers, people who like me, yes, the right culture in the organization. If your culture, if your ethics as a person does not align with the culture of whatever organization you're working with, then there will always be friction. Your culture must align. Your personal culture and the organization culture must align for there to be synergy. If there is no synergy, then you perpetually be a loggerhead. And if you're working in a place, if you're not happy with that place, you definitely will not even want to take up ideas to help push the business forward. If you own your own business and you're not satisfied with the way it's turning out, the probability that your morale will be high to come up with new ideas is zero. You will perpetually feel low because you feel like things are not turning out for you. And you begin to see, oh, why is it turning out for you, but it's not turning out for me. So you need to, your culture, your ethic has to be in sync with what you're selling. You cannot be showing people smiles, but inside you're frowning. No, it won't gel because people will see through that smile to see that this smile is fake. Right? Then strategy, definitely not the list. Strategy simply put is the plan the organization has for achieving long-term success. That's why this is how you want your business to run, how you go about it. How do you think that, oh, I need to keep doing it to ensure that my business is sustainable? What's critical to understand is that strategy is all about making the choice, right? It's about you have a whole lot of options. So maybe you have ideas that If I have 5 ideas, I have come up with 20 ideas, I have 5 that are viable. The strategy is now you have to make a choice that all those ideas, which one aligns with my strategy. So if my strategy is I have to focus on women, maybe I'm selling women with female clothes, and my strategy is I have to focus on women, and okay, strategy is let's focus on women between the ages of 10. You cannot now, and you have to look at those ideas, 5 ideas. Maybe 2 out of those 5 would help you generate products that will push your business. So that age band, then that is what you focus on. You now have to do away with all those other ones. Maybe not throw them out completely, but you then probably put them by the side to see, okay, if I have to, if my strategy at any point changes, or I develop my strategy, or I improve on it, or I decide to expand it, those can then come in. So the link between innovation and strategy is extensive, but basically it's one of the means. Innovation is one means for you to achieve your strategic goals. For every business, you have plans. You have your long-term goals, you have mid-term, you have short-term. And short-term for most businesses, I always say, is it shouldn't be money. Whatever it is that you feel you're passionate, if you turn that into a business venture, at the short time, you will not be profitable, definitely. But after a while, you definitely break even. So you see, when you see new businesses start, they'll say, oh, I'll break even in 2 years. I'll break even in 6 months. I'll break even in 1 month. I'll break even in 1 year. There's a plan. So they have a goal. 1 year break even. By year 2, I should start making revenues. So that's short term, mid term, and then there's a long term goal. You have to have that long term goal to ensure that your business is sustainable, and strategy is not cast in stone. You definitely would have to keep reviewing it, keep improving on it to make sure that your business stays afloat. So the innovation process itself, you plan, right? So when you plan, you come up with ideas and code. You plan on those ideas. There's a pipeline where those ideas will flow through. You have your ideas, you begin to think about, oh, how do I then go about milling these ideas? That's the process. You use your people to mill the idea. You have a platform where people have to brainstorm, think through the development of these ideas. You turn it out, throw it out to the market on the platform, and then you begin to review how that the idea or the final product is performing in the market. And it goes on and on just like that. It's continuous. That's the thing about innovation. It's a continuous process. You cannot do and stop applying and say, oh no, because I thought about an idea and I put it out, let me end. No. Even for the product that you have out in the market, even for the ideas that you've come about, oh, this is how I have to improve my business. You have to keep improving on it. You go through the cycle, you plan, you go to the pipeline continuously. That's the only way you can be sure or ascertain that, yes, my business is going to stay and it's going to be sustainable. It's going to grow and it will be sustainable. Now, using an innovation management tool. So you have to always check up. You have an idea, you have an end-to-end process of churning out products, churning out different activities in your business. You have to do a review, always review it. You have to incentivize. So your customers and if you have workers, even yourself. Sometimes it's good to actually, pat yourself on the back to say, yes, you have done well. Because it gives you that morale to do more, right? So you put an idea out there, you need to build the hype. Sometimes you see some people, maybe when they put up an idea, so let me use a movie for example. So maybe there's a new movie that came out, you hear everywhere, everyone talking about it. And maybe when you go to watch it, you feel like, it did not live up to the hype. Why? You went to it because of the hype. So if you have a business out there, business idea, show it out. We're actually talking about it. Every time you're making noise about it. maybe how it will work out, you don't know yet, but you're hyping it, you're throwing it out there. You've gone through that process and you feel that, yes, this is something that will work. You build that hype. Don't let people forget it. Don't let people forget about that idea. Throw it in their faces. People will come to you and say, how far, how far, how far? And that's one way to sell your product. Don't manage it all yourself. You have friends. You can leverage your friends. You can leverage your family members. So you can just tell your sister, I bet, put this thing up for me, put it on your WhatsApp status. Somebody goes, oh, I like this, or yeah, push it. You have, there's something that is called your circle of influence. Those people that you feel that you can readily go to and say, hey, I need you to help me push them, talk about your business, let me talk about your product. Not a business person. Maybe for you, it's oh, I work in an organization. Hype yourself. Your hype might be your colleagues. It might be your line supervisor. Let that person blow your trumpet. If you hype yourself and people say, she believes in herself, then begin to believe in you and believe in whatever it is you're putting out there. Reevaluate your goals. So what do you aim to achieve in the long run? Note that the fact that you've decided on this is what I want to achieve, it's not, that's not the goal. It's not, that goal post, it cannot be static. It can move because day on day you grow, you improve. And the way you grow and improve is the same way your goals will grow and improve. So always reevaluate it. When you reevaluate. Finally, don't give up. No matter what the outcome is, the first time, the second time, the third time, the 10th time, it might not be what you want, but don't give up. I always tell people that I'm an online real-time work in progress because you can never really get to that point where you want to be. There'll always be a step higher. So I'm sure maybe 2 months ago, what you want to achieve, 2 months ago, different from what you want to achieve now. Why? Because you've grown, because you've developed yourself. So there's a new target. So don't give up. And know that it doesn't end. So you have to continue going. Don't give up, reevaluate, don't manage yourself, build a hype, you incentivize people, you do checkups. Just go round and round that way. And you find out that when you generate the ideas and you manage your ideas properly, you go through that process of review and development and implementation and putting it out there. And you make sure that the process itself does not end at any point, any spot, like it's continuous. Then you realize that you now have an effective innovation management process and tool that you can apply to any facet. So it can be your business, it can be yourself as an individual, it can be your organization where you work, or you're trying to start up a new one. It can be anything. You apply it to it, and you eventually find out that yes, there's positive returns at the end of the day to you, and by extension to your environment and your neighborhood. Right? So that's it from my end today. If there are questions or contributions, please feel free to share with us. Thank you. So if you have questions, please. Any questions or contribution?
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, there is a noise I'm hearing from the background. I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if this is a question, but I'm not sure. This is not a question. It's actually, let me say, a contribution. I noticed. I don't know who is making this noise. Yeah, okay, good. All right. So I noticed personally that there have been some changes, some little changes from our videos of last class. And now, because I remember last class, we don't have live on YouTube. And now I can say live on YouTube. For me, I can use that as an example of saying, okay, it's an innovation, building up on what we've done from the last class. Okay, secondly, I also noticed that I can actually read whatever you're saying at the background of, at the bottom of the Zoom app. And I didn't see that last week. So it's actually also an improvement from what we've been doing in terms of making sure that our class gets improved. So thank you, Chigogo, for that. Okay, so lastly, I don't know how this will work. If we come here all day
Thank
to,
you very much, Percy. Thank you.
So if we come here all day to listen to class and we just go back and we don't do anything, I'm sure that it will be like a waste of time. I don't know if anybody can agree with me with that. It will be like a waste of time, and I think we need to